Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar returned to the WWE as a surprise at the end of Night 2 at SummerSlam. They had a great cash-in Night 1 at SummerSlam, and they thought to themselves, there's no way we can top it unless. And they brought out Brock Lesnar. We went over it slightly when we did the Aftermath show for SummerSlam. We talked about that. We went over it just a little bit. But I wanted to bring it back up as a main topic because one of the things that I said on the show last is I needed to be refreshed on what it was exactly that Lesnar was being accused of or what he was in the court case for, because I couldn't remember. We hadn't gone over the case in a long time because the son of a bitch is in fucking limbo. Nothing's happening with that case. It's just a thing that exists. So it's just kind of sitting on ice for right now. So I went back. I wanted more time. So I went back, looked over the case again as written by Janelle Grant's lawyers, and I have a much more specific idea of what it was that he was accused of. But before we get into the specifics of what Brock Lesnar did, I also kind of want to keep in mind about the reaction he received, because that place went fucking nuts when Lesnar came out. You could see the excitement on the faces of literally everyone that was in that building. I was at SummerSlam, but I was not at SummerSlam Night 2. So if it was anything compared to the audience reaction that I experienced in Night 1, then I know it was hella loud. Because we said here on the show that a lot of the audio that we were listening to on the show was either muted or lowered down. They did something. They sweetened it up. Not sweetened it up, excuse me. They dumbed it down, actually, not sweetened it up. They did something to that audio that made it almost like you couldn't hear shit in that building. But that one was, you couldn't mistake it. You heard every bit of that goddamn pop when Brock Lesnar came out there. So he got a warm reception, is my point. There might have been a few boos, but they were definitely drowned out by the sounds of everyone going absolutely nuts. So let's start the conversation with this. Was this the right time to bring back Brock Lesnar? I think this is where the conversation should start. Because he hasn't been on TV. They say the last time he was on TV was in 2023. So we're going on almost 2 years of him not being on TV. Is this something they needed to do? That they need this splash? Or is just coming across as just something that they kind of wanted to do in this moment?
I mean, maybe he wanted to do it. I feel like he should have been back sooner. But because of this stuff going on, he had to lay low for a little bit.
Take all that heat off.
And the only thing I can think of is Cena wanted some more interaction with him, which could be a reason to come back. Or he wanted to come back. You'll have a better insight than I do, but that's the only thing I can really see to is why he would be back. So I don't have any other reason in my mind why this would be happening aside from Cena wanting it or him wanting it.
Well, Triple H, I think, was the one who went public stating that this was a John Cena ask. And
okay,
so,
see, all right.
And so but having said that, it's an ask. You don't have to grant him this specific thing. I know we're in the middle of giving this guy the farewell that he deserves, and he deserves every bit of everything that he's been getting, but this one's touchy. This one's touchy because that case file that they filed, Janelle Grant's attorneys, they're listing, when they list the parties, the people involved in that suit, WWE's name is still in there. They have not removed, despite the fact that Vince is no longer a part of the company in any capacity at all whatsoever. It happened in WWE, and they're not letting go of the fact that it happened in WWE. So WWE's name is already going to be going through some form of mudslinging in the next couple of months. To add to the now optic of wrestling fans or just generation of fucking people just seeking any chance they can possibly get to do some kind of virtual signaling or whatever, to just seem like the cool kids and the I'm going to save you mentality on social media, even if he didn't do anything, which legally he didn't. Not technically, which is why the lawyers cleared him in the first place. I sent you the snap. I didn't want you to have to sift through what seemed, it was 67 pages of fucking filing. But I did send you the exact portion. I sent you snapshots of the exact portion of where he's being listed, which is the next problem I had. I think we talked about it at the time, that Lesnar was not named specifically in the case. It says a former UFC champion, which there's only one on the roster, so that really limits your guessing ability. There's one UFC person there. And it stated the exact stuff that he was involved when, what is this, Section J? I think that's Section J. It just says McMahon uses Miss Grant as a sexual pawn to entice world-famous wrestling talent and to keep WWE superstar under contract with WWE. WWE superstar is famous worldwide as a top talent with WWE, with a large collective fan base that helps generate viewership and drives in-person attendance, all of which enrich WWE and McMahon. Upon information and belief, McMahon began to recruit WWE superstar for a sexual encounter with Miss Grant while she was still a coordinator in the legal department. By July 2021, McMahon informed Miss Grant that WWE superstar would be their next playmate, in quotations. As in other instances, McMahon described his fantasy of seeing Miss Grant engaged in unmerciful sexual acts with WWE superstar, during which he would, in quotations, rip her open. McMahon also confided to Miss Grant that he wanted to have WWE superstar under a new contract, while WWE superstar indicated an interest in a return to other professional endeavors. On about July 12, 2021, McMahon directed Miss Grant to create personalized sexual content for WWE superstar. Those were the piss pics that we heard so much about. McMahon shared the photos with WWE superstar and then informed Miss Grant that, quote, he likes what he sees, quote. On July 21st, 2021, McMahon flew and or caused WWE superstar to fly on a jet into a local airport and travel into Connecticut across state lines, they wanted to point out, for what McMahon described to Miss Grant as a business dinner as well as sexual encounter with Miss Grant in McMahon's condo. Upon information and belief, the dinner was to discuss WWE superstar's continued involvement with WWE. Prior to the business dinner with McMahon, WWE superstar made a brief visit to Miss Grant's building. However, WWE superstar did not return to the building for a sexual encounter because he was too intoxicated and taken back to the plane. Later that evening, after McMahon recounted the story about his dinner with WWE superstar to Miss Grant, he sought to salvage the night with a request that they role play a sexual encounter in which McMahon acted as if he were WWE superstar. McMahon was so physically rough with Miss Grant during the encounter that Miss Grant begged Mr. McMahon to stop numerous times, including loud cries of help, I'm serious and I'm scared, as he, among other things, penetrated her, fisted her, pulled her hair, pinned her, shoved her, and open palm slapped her. Mr. McMahon's assault caused Miss Grant to break down weeping and curl into the fetal position with her arms pulled up to protect her face. And then it goes a little deeper more on the physical assault of McMahon. Now, you can go ahead and break all that down to McMahon's actions there, and they wanted to point out the across state lines comment because that's your trafficking right there. That's what they're considering part of the trafficking, and they're not wrong. And although there were intentions to include Brock into whatever it is they were doing, again, technically, he didn't do any of it. He received the text messages from Vince. We don't know what his genuine reaction was to those pics. He did not have sexual relations with Miss Grant, although in their document they're stating that there was some sort of get-together, some sort of meeting, or some sort of rendezvous where they were supposed to. But even by Janelle Grant's documentation, they didn't. So, I mean, even if there was intent to do something, nothing was done. So if you want to pull the morality card, I'm with you on that. I don't think this dude is coming across like the greatest human being who's ever fucking lived. But he didn't commit the crime. He didn't beat anybody up. He didn't shit on anybody. He didn't fucking... matter of fact, the only connection he has to Janelle Grant apparently is McMahon pretending he was Brock Lesnar as he did his fuck. I wonder if he did the fucking entrance and everything. Like, you think he played the music and the whole shit? I don't know. This dude's fucked in the head. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Legally speaking, I can see why the legal team of WWE cleared him. I can see
what
it.
I think is, in his from his perspective, getting hammered that night was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
he got out of the case, yeah.
Getting so drunk that he couldn't, regardless, we can't prove his intent. So we can't, like, for all we know, they said that's what happened, but he really wasn't. He just didn't want anything to do with it, right? So you can kind of right. They could say, "Oh, he's drunk. He's too drunk to, he's just went back to the plane or the hotel or whatever," right? But in reality, he didn't want anything to do with it. That's a possible. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying
it's definitely on the table
because there are two things that could happen.
I've never heard a guy say, "Oh, I can't wait to do some shit to you." Unfortunately, I'm a little too inebriated, so I'm going to hop back on the plane and go home. But you guys enjoy yourselves. I've never seen a guy. I've known guys who knew they were too drunk to fuck, and just went, you know what? We're gonna roll the dice. let's see what happens. So let's wait till we
rope here, but
I'll get there. Don't worry about it. You give me a minute.
Figure this one out.
Yeah, we're gonna figure this one out. I've never seen a dude just
somebody's nutting. I don't know.
Yeah. You better get yours because I'm gonna get mine. Son. I've never heard a dude say that before. It was like, I would love to have sex with your friend, Vince, but I have just had so much to drink tonight. I think I'm just gonna head back on the plane.
Much tequila?
Yeah, that's another thing. He's so drunk that he can't have sex at the hotel room, but they put him in the plane. It wasn't like he went to a hotel room himself. He got who's too fucked up to fuck, but not too fucked up to fly. I don't know.
I'm not a frequent flyer.
Yeah,
maybe you get some sleep on there, but. Yeah, answer your question. I think if it did actually go down that way, he was absolutely obliterated, was escorted back to his plane to get out of there. That is the greatest thing that happened to him, regardless of what his intent was. We don't know that. All we know is the facts that we are being given. And like you said, even to her testimony, you can try to slander him if you want. And maybe he is a piece of shit for trying to do it, but
he didn't touch you.
At the end of the day, it never happened.
Yeah, it never happened.
So we can't convict him or accuse him of anything that didn't happen. And she said herself it didn't happen. So
she said it herself that they did nothing happen.
Here we have it.
It wasn't
Cena versus Brock.
It wasn't. Okay, if you want to go down the path of the trafficking again from Vince's angle, correct. If you want to go to the issue with Vince convincing her or bullying her or pressuring her to do the content-specific pics for Brock, it sounds like Vince was doing those pictures to entice Brock to stay.
Like an advertisement.
Yeah, like he was trying to do something to get Brock to stay. It wasn't like Brock said, hey, I'll sign for this money and let me see Janelle Grant's tits. I don't think that was the conversation either. I think, again, that's Vince being the pervert that he is. He was like, hey, look, I'm going to send some pics to my buddy over some smut that I'm working over here. And
it could have been, hey, you want to come back for a show? Look what I got for you.
Yeah, word. It's like, hey.
That doesn't take Brock completely out of the picture per se,
Yeah.
but who's to say he asked for that? It could have just hit his line. That guy could have been in the fucking woods hunting, and that shit just popped up, and he's like, "Look, dude, I'll do your show. Just relax on this shit. Like, I don't, I
Chill.
don't. You guys can do whatever you're doing. I don't give a fuck. But like, stop hitting my line with this shit."
Yeah, for all we
Who
know,
knows?
he was just trying to be that guy with Brock, where the guy's like smell my fingers type shit, you know, where it's like when he hooks up with a girl, all of a sudden he can't stop talking about, oh, you should have seen that backward shit I was doing to this chick, man, she's amazing. I was doing this, and he's just like, okay,
This
all
thing
right.
is crazy work, dude.
Yeah, I could, but
That's crazy work.
I could see the issue with the morality of it, or with the perception of it to even be named in this thing and then still be on WWE television. I get it, but I can't sit here and be angry with the company for making a decision that legally they have the right to make. Nick Khan.
And I'll tell you what, though, I know we're riding on the perspective of like there is a chance he could have had bad intent, but let's look at it in a perspective where he's completely fucking innocent. He doesn't want anything to do with this, and it's just he's kind of like his name's kind of like being dragged into it. Dude, I'm fucking tight. Especially if I had plans to come back and do work, and now I have to kind of like sit. You know what I mean? Because you're doing some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. From that perspective, I'd be a little fucking annoyed. But I mean, he's gonna do business, right? So he's gonna stay shut. He's not gonna add any fuel to the fire.
You're talking about
But
Brock?
like
Yeah.
if he, let's say he was actually clean, like he's just being texted this shit, he doesn't want it. His name's being brought up. Dude's role playing as him, so now she's like, she's got the fucking memory of her dad of Brock and all that stuff, which is why she brings him up. He's a big name, stuff like that. But you're sitting there just completely fucking minding your business. You know what I mean? Like now you have to wait to do business. So I don't know. It looks like he's clean. He's back. He's gonna do something. Didn't they threaten him, saying like this was a bad decision or some shit? Like, didn't their lawyers say that they were gonna get in trouble for that or some shit?
Yeah, they said I read the exact quote on the last episode, but it was something to the relates of that they were disappointed in seeing it, and that they're looking forward to all of the facts coming out concerning not only the court case itself, but specifically the involvement of Brock Lesnar. They're trying to make it seem like they've got more than they're letting on. But my thing is this: if you do, right? Let's say you do have something on Brock, that Brock had a role that is bigger than they're letting on in this entire thing. Why is Vince, in the actual write-up, in the actual dissertation, Vince McMahon is McMahon, John Laurinaitis is John Laurinaitis? How come when they mention Brock, it's former UFC champion and quote-unquote WWE superstar? Why can't they just say...
Because they're trying, and he's still associated, and they are deliberately, and from their angle, sure, but like from they are trying everything to keep that WWE name attached to this lawsuit.
Oh yeah, that's where the money is.
Yeah.
That's where the money... Vince is going to allow TKO to foot the bill if that's what gets him out of this situation. If that's what gets him out of there, and that's not his company anymore, so okay, fine. That's where it took place. Let's involve the company. I don't think he wants to harm what is, regardless of the fact that he sold it, going to be his legacy in life forever, even in death. That company will be the milestone of his entire career, of his entire life, regardless of what happens in this case. But you look at it completely differently with the case. I call it Christopher Columbus syndrome, you know? For years, Christopher Columbus was this wonderful dude that everyone looked up to, and they had a holiday for him and all this other shit. And then the stuff really started coming out. And now people are like, ugh, maybe we just call it Indigenous Day and move on with our fucking lives. That's what's going to... I hate to see it because, you know, the Benoit treatment and everything that's gone on with McMahon... not with McMahon, with the company, whenever they have these situations where a wrestler or somebody associated with the company steps over that line and it becomes something else, like we were talking about earlier, the ring crew boys, right? Where they were throwing people under the bus for that. Pat Patterson had to take an L, and there was a bunch of people who were involved with that. When the scandals hit, that's when everyone gets the most quiet. You know, they're trying to see who's going to survive the blast. And I think Lesnar naturally is not a very extroverted guy as it is. It's easy for him to lay low. That's his natural habitat. But I think this is an issue for him, this comeback here, because now the conversation, I think, whether fair or unfair, the conversation stops being about Vince and now becomes a conversation about them, which is hilarious when you think about it, because if you really want to be honest about people who were associated with Vince's depravity, who assisted in it, who played a role, we circle back to the snitch. How are we still not talking about the snitch? That boy is crazy good at evading fucking conversation. John Laurinaitis is the person who took the deal under the table. He was the one who had sex with Janelle. Lesnar might have had an appointment or two, whatever, that's debatable. We know John had sex with her. That's confirmed. Even to the point where this man lost his marriage and everything. This motherfucker is on the outs. But we're not talking about him, though. We're talking about Brock. So, it is what it is, man. But that's the specifics. That's what we needed to come back to and reassess. We needed to once again touch on what it was he was specifically involved in, and if that is enough to keep him off of television. And for as much as I don't like the situation as a whole, I can't begrudge. I can't get on them for doing it. If I was booking it, I wouldn't do it. But they're willing to do it. Nick Khan.
That's not fair.
So it's not fair. What, to Brock?
No, for you to say that you wouldn't do it, because I think if you had the information you would have made the same call.
I don't know that for certain, no, but I'm telling you that
I will die on the hill that if you had the same information they had, you would make the correct business decision.
Right, but here's the difference between what I think I would have done and what they are doing, and that's addressing it. Because they're not addressing it. They're just.
I wouldn't either.
I
wouldn't.
Just,
I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm saying
I think it would be. I think it's in their best interest to fucking address it. Like, for instance, the conversation that really spurred this up is this was the first pay-per-view in a long time that they didn't do the post pay-per-view press conference. And everybody was like, well, we all know why they're not doing the press conference, because all the questions are going to be about this and literally nothing else. And that's 100% true. I don't know if that's the exact specific reason why they stopped doing it. Me, personally, I don't think they should have ever started doing it. It doesn't make sense to do. It's not helpful for you to do. I don't like it when AEW does it. I definitely don't like it when they fucking do it. But the timing now looks really bad. Because if you were going to end it, that's one thing. But to end it right after this guy appears, now it comes across like you have something to hide. When you don't. All the legalities out there in the open. I Googled this information. It's all readily available. It's not private. There's nothing really being hidden, but it feels that way. I think that's the issue I would have with bringing him back, because it's the perception of things. People don't give a fuck about truth. Random people in life just don't give a fuck about what's true. It's the spin. It's the drama. They're not there for the rights and wrongs of the situation. You know how many people are on Brock Lesnar? They're on Vince McMahon. They're on John Laurinaitis. And they don't give two shits about Janelle Grant. They don't care about the fucking victim. They just want to see these fucking predators eat shit. That's it. They've made it their own personal fucking missions to make sure that these guys are fucking canceled, period, end of fucking conversation. They don't care about the woman who actually received the negative end of all of this conversation. Listen to the shit that I just read to you right now about what Vince McMahon did to her. You don't hear those specifics being discussed online. All you hear is how much of a piece of shit Vince is, and how much of a piece of shit John Laurinaitis is, and how much of a piece of shit Brock Lesnar is. And any other names that come out during the course of this process, they're just going to lump them in the shit garbage bag altogether, all is one, regardless of the situation. All that stuff that Vince did and all the stuff that Brock Lesnar did, and for whatever reason, they're being held in the same regard. And that doesn't make sense. Both did crimes, but one clearly had more fun with their crimes than the other one did. But, you know, the court of public opinion doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. That's why I would be a little weary. And I would, you know what? Not for nothing. The reason why I say I would address it, because it would make it 10 times harder. If I addressed it, it would make it 10 times harder for the next week or two. But after that, no one's going to give a fuck anymore. They're going to be over it. People get over things so fucking fast in today's world. They're mad right now. They'll be over it in a week. They'll be over it. That's why me personally, I would have steered into it. Hey, we understand your concerns. Yes, we understand your feelings on the whole situation, but we've ran this by legal. We've ran this by our legal team, and we feel that this is the best course of action, and blah, 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 blah. And then stand on your business. That's it. Regardless of what you explain, there's going to be a group of people out there that don't like it, because there's people out there that don't like anything. But at least it kayfabes your fucking company, because this version of WWE is still saying that they don't have a role in this case because they weren't fucking there. So, keep the babyface run going. Hey, look, we understand your concerns. We understand how you feel. We apologize for putting you in that position. But he's been cleared by our legal team. There's nothing illegal that we're doing, and we're moving forward. This is the business decision that we're making, period. They don't have to like it. But you can kayfabe yourself into being the babyface, and look, you know, we're acknowledging how you feel. We just disagree, and we're going to do something else. We understand if you guys feel differently. That's it. To do the silent game, not just the silent game, but then like to not do the press conference, you're coming off looking very weak. That's all I'm saying. It just comes across very weak. Stand on it. You brought him in. I'm not even telling you not to use them. Just stand on it. That's what I'm saying. Address it. Because you're just going to make yourself look like you got something to hide, and you don't. He didn't do anything. No, he didn't. Let me rephrase. He didn't do anything illegal. Which was why he was cleared in the fucking first place. Because he didn't do anything that's going to harm the company. I'm pretty sure he laughed his fucking ass off when he got the pics, and I'm pretty sure he got his jollies, but he didn't actually touch her. He didn't traffic her. He didn't shit on her. He didn't pee on her. He didn't do any of that weird shit that this fucking guy was doing. So we have our real villain. We have him. We don't need to, you know, drag this guy. Like you said, unfair. It's unfair, to be honest with you. So there you go. That's the Brock Lesnar and Janelle Grant situation there. On Raw, John acknowledged Brock, but there was no Brock. It looks like we're going to have to wait to see if these two collide. They're on a time schedule, so I don't know when they're planning on pulling the trigger on a John Cena, Brock Lesnar situation. But
Tony, I got a feeling it's his farewell match.
The last one? You think they're going to start building now to December? They could. They could.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. You're going to blink. It's going to be December. Don't tell me that, because I'm trying to enjoy what's left of this goddamn summer. But you're absolutely right.